Hey everybody, welcome back to the Two College Dudes podcast. We're making our goal to talk to college students and figure out what's really important to us because we don't think social media or Hollywood do a great job of portraying that. So on the show today, I'm privileged to welcome my friend Yeates Pruden. What's up, Yeates?
What's going on, boys? How we doing today?
Dude, pretty good. We started the day off with some donuts, and now we get to talk about some good stuff.
Chai tea lattes.
Chai tea lattes, yeah.
What's in the cup? Shout out Starbucks.
All right, so where are you from, Yeates? Who are you? How old are you?
All right, lots of questions today. Should be ready. It is a podcast.
Yes, sir.
I am from originally Lexington, Kentucky. I was born there, which is the great college town of UK, University of Kentucky. But I moved when I was 2 years old. Maybe not even 2. I don't really know. I should know that. Right before I was 2 years old. And moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where I've lived ever since. So, 21 years old now. Lived there basically my whole life. So, when people ask me where I'm from, I normally say St. Louis. But do like to throw in where I was born because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have another question?
Yes. Do you have any siblings?
I have one older brother. His name's Will.
Okay.
He's 24 because I'm 21, so he's 3 years older.
And
yeah, he's awesome. We weren't super close when we were young. I mean, like, we did everything together, but, like, not on a deeper level. But, over the last couple of years, we really started to, like, get to know each other on a deeper level, and it's been it's been different. It's been hard because we're very, like, we think differently, we process differently, but, like, I've learned a lot from him, and, like, I don't know, dude, it's fun hanging out with him. I love him, so, yeah.
You have any memorable stories?
Oh, yeah, I have
The two.
too many, my dude. So, when we were growing up, this is funny, but it's not funny at the same time. When we were growing up, I used to be a lot more competitive than I am now. Like, now I'm okay with losing. I'd like throw a tantrum. But my brother was somehow worse, like literally somehow. I don't know how you could even get worse, but he was. And so my best friend Ben is my age, and he had an older brother named PJ who was like Will's best friend at the time. And we used to always play sports together. And we still talk about this to this day. We don't know, we had to split up the teams to where I wasn't with Will because Will would get so mad and we get so angry at each other. And so we always put me and PJ on a team and Will and Ben. And like we still talk about it how like out of the four of us, I was the better athlete compared to Ben, and PJ was compared to Will. So, like, the teams were never fair. They were just set up to where it was like they would never win. And so, I mean, there was one time where we were playing. We had this game called Twiffle Ball. Twiffle Ball. We created this game where you had a junkyard baseball bat. You know what that is? Junk ball. Like, it's like a wiffle ball thing. Okay. And we'd play with a tennis ball. And so you could just whack that.
You'd launch it.
Yeah, you'd launch that. And one time my brother got so mad at Ben that he like just started throwing the ball repeatedly. And like Ben ran inside like crying. Like it was, honestly looking back, it was hilarious. But Ben to this day is like, says he has self-confidence issues because of how much my brother was. In a joking manner, but kind of real. So it's just like, that's the story I had when I was little. We used to take sports way too seriously.
Yeah, as did we all, didn't we? Let's see.
Yeah.
John, were you a super competitive kid?
Not at all.
Oh. As do we all.
He said. For the podcast.
Yeah, for the podcast. How do you like spend your free time?
I'm a very active person. Like, I love sports. I love things that just stimulate movement or my brain. So like board games or like basketball or sand volleyball. Or like I even played pickleball last night with some people. I'd never done that before, and it was like I loved it. Like, anything. I love competitive things too. Just like active moving things.
I got you. Yeah.
But like the place where I get most joy is just being with people that I love.
Right.
Being around friends who don't follow Jesus and follow Jesus. Honestly, just I love like getting to know people and like what makes them tick. And so I like this podcast a lot. So,
well, thanks, dude. So education is a big part of all of our lives. What was your education experience like?
So I lived in Wildwood, Missouri. It's like a suburb in St. Louis. It's got a very good education system, so that's great.
Nice.
Very like I feel like I had like not that I have to, but I should recognize it more. Like I should be thankful for that. Like just having a conversation with someone last night, talking about how like how lucky we are to actually have like
Education.
a lot of times I hate on our government and stuff, but like I mean they provide us with a lot of things, and like there's a lot of structure there that's like really good. And so but anyways, my education.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Disclaimer: I have ADD, so my talking points may go from left to right field.
There you go.
But so yeah, I had a pretty awesome education. Grew up, and like I've never been someone who struggles in school, and I don't know why. Like I guess I'm just blessed to be able to do that, and so. Also, I've never really challenged myself in school. Like, I never took the hard classes. I took the easiest classes possible. And I still do that in college.
Yeah.
I go to Mizzou, I'm a senior, and I'm a communication major. Simply because, here's a story behind this. I'm a communication major because I took Calc 1 at community college, halfway through, withdrawal because it was so hard. I was like, no, I can't do this. Came to school as a business major, took Calc 1 again, halfway through, was like, no, I can't do this. Withdrawal. Realized I had to take it to be a business major to move on.
Oh no.
And said, no, I'm transferring majors.
Yeah.
So I did. And then the reason I transferred communication is because two of my friends were like, oh yeah, it's the easiest one. And I was like, bet. I was literally like, bet. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea. And now it's like, it's weird now. It's like, I love it. Like, I seriously love it so much.
That's awesome.
And so, but it's so easy. I was just telling them that. Like, I haven't taken a test in 2 years. I mean, it's all about writing papers.
Dude,
And so like it's honestly like super. What I like about it too is I don't feel like school's super applicable.
Yeah.
But like this really is like in your everyday life. I start to see things I'm learning in class. It's just kind of cool. Yeah, exactly. So,
Dude,
yeah.
I switched to an English major after I failed business pre-calculus. Let's go.
Some of these classes we making us really switch majors. That's good, dude. I love it.
John, did you fail math class before switching to digital storytelling?
No, I failed statistics. Actually, I guess.
Yeah.
Statistics is math. So yeah.
Shout out to the maths.
Math,
Come on,
dude.
math.
At some point, you just can't have any more of it.
Crushing dreams.
Yeah.
Since its conception. It's terrible.
Dang, somebody really invented that. It just
It
destroys.
was sitting there like, all right,
calculus.
What is wrong with you?
All right, hey Yeates, what's something that you think is important that people don't really talk about?
That's a loaded question.
It is loaded.
Could go a lot of
There's
ways
a
here.
lot. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a conversation I was having last night, which is kind of interesting. I learned this summer. So one thing you'll learn about me, audience, and you guys that you know, looking at you, is that I love Jesus, and so like that kind of pours into everything in my life. And so with that, I think the best way that I'm able to see personally, a lot of people can see Jesus in different ways, like reading, singing, worship, praying. The way I see him most and get most encouraged is through conversations with people. So like even like this.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. And so it's why I'm here on this earth. Like, let's be real. And so,
Yeah.
I wish people realized how important talking to others was. And like how much, a lot of times people look at people and think they have nothing to offer, but it's like, you could be looking at the homeless man down the street, or you can be looking at the billionaire, and like both of them, you never know which one's going to bring more life to you. Like it could be the homeless person that says something to you that changes your perspective and changes your life. It could be the billionaire. It could be the average college kid. You never know. Like, I love moments. You could sit down and have one conversation with someone and leave that moment never the same. And that like is so exciting to me.
That's really cool, yeah.
And so I wish people realized that there are so many different perspectives, and this is me saying this, not even have left the country yet, but I really want to, that we don't know about, from like people who live in Central America and Africa and Asia, and like how much of Jesus are we missing? How much of the picture is missing for us because we haven't seen their perspective, because we haven't seen like what Jesus is doing in them essentially.
Yeah.
Or like maybe not even, just like, so if God really did make all these people, right? He's through these people in different ways. And so how many people out there have we not met or decided we don't want to talk to, or missing God because of it? So I wish people talked about that more.
Dude, that's
really cool.
That's important.
Is that like one of the big reasons you kind of started doing like college ministry stuff, was to see that different perspective?
Yeah. And so, yeah, essentially that's why I do ministry. That's why I love Jesus, is because it's like, it's so, he went and he met so many people, and there wasn't someone he didn't want to meet, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like you look at it and he had dinner with tax collectors and like sinners, the worst of the worst. And then you go 5 chapters later in Matthew, John, whatever it is, and I don't even know, my dad was telling me this crap. But, not this crap, this wonderful stuff. And, for the record. He was like, then you see he's preaching like on a Sermon on the Mount. It says, those exact same people who came to watch him preach. And it's like, well, why did they? Because he spent time with them, because he got to know them. Yeah. Right?
Because he went out his way.
Yes, to answer your question, yes. Like, that's why I did it. Because it's just like, so important. And like, you're never going to argue someone to following Christ. And if you do, then like, it's another quote I heard last night. Someone said like, apparently this is from Bob Goff, which I'm not surprised.
I love Bob Goff.
Bob Goff's a unit.
What a cool guy.
Read all his books.
Yeah.
They said like, so if you bring someone to Christ and continue to like, they ask you questions and you give them all the answers, even if you don't know them, as soon as they ask you a question and you're not able to answer it, say that they came to Christ because of you, because of all the answers you've given them, everything, like, you're their savior. As soon as you can't answer a question, like, their faith's just going to fall to shambles, because it's like, they don't really have faith in Jesus, they have faith in you. And so it's like, I don't know, like, we can continue to point to Jesus, but we can't be Jesus. I think I struggle with that a lot. Just like the me and John talk a lot about like savior complex. Yeah, a lot of times it goes with guys and girls, but a lot of times it just goes with people in need. And it's like, no, we just gotta plant seeds. We gotta like point to Jesus, not be Jesus. So it's like, I don't know.
It's like it's kind of like what Rick was saying at Summer Staff about how you're not trying to be the sun, you're trying to be the moon. You're trying to reflect the sun.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Last year, one of my Bible study leaders, one of my really good friends actually, he basically talked about that. He was like, I'm not here to facilitate and manage your faith. I'm here to make sure that you can stand independently in your faith. Kind of cool to see while he's like helping encourage and while he's helping like to try and build that, at the end of the day, like Bible study and community and all that stuff is designed obviously to give you community and get you closer with other guys in the faith, but also to make sure that your faith can stand on its own.
To just point in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I like that quote a lot.
So you've kind of already hit on this a little bit, but what gets you up in the morning?
Oh, that whole conversation we just had.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's hard to wake up in the morning though, even following Jesus. Like, it's not just like, hell yeah, like, let's go attack the day. Like, sorry for the word there. I don't know what's going on here, but anyways.
Heaven,
heaven,
yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, that gets me up in the morning, knowing that there are things throughout my day where Jesus is going to teach me and show me. And, I don't know, my goal a lot of times is just to be aware and, like, have eyes to see.
Yeah.
And a heart to listen. I say a heart to listen, I never say ears to listen.
Hey, that works.
It's like, you can hear something with your ears, but if you don't hear it with your heart, it's not going to matter. So, but I think that gets me up in the morning. Also, like, people, like, knowing that I get to do life with people is very, like, if it was just me and no one else, it'd be really hard to get up in the morning, honestly. I'd probably feel trapped, feel very alone and stuck in this world, so... People in Jesus really get me up, so that's it.
That's one thing that I have a problem with science, with people who believe that the Earth is here just because of some atoms in a non-existent universe, mind you. Some atoms just kind of came together and blew up and made everything. But based off that means that we are here by chance. And waking up on our day thinking this is like I have no purpose. I'm just here because of an accident. Like it just makes like I can't imagine getting up every day and being like, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I know I for sure really, really love about following Jesus. Is you wake up every day and you have a purpose, which is like you were talking about.
Amen.
What book in the Bible is it that kind of talks about like, if the resurrection wasn't a thing, like our faith is meaningless and we're to be pitied? You know what I'm talking about?
That's definitely a letter by Paul. I
Yeah.
don't know which one it is.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I can tell you it's definitely a letter by Paul. I don't know who wrote, like, which book it is, but
Do you have a favorite book in the Bible? Or a favorite verse?
Ooh. Yeah, I think my favorite verse is, I'm not good at memorizing verses at all.
So
It's tough.
I feel that.
Yeah.
But it's essentially like, we love you so much, so we not only want to share the gospel with you, but we wanted to share our lives.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about it at camp some, and it's like,
Yeah.
someone's life can change by you sharing the gospel and telling them these words and them hearing it, but like, for them to have a really big impact, it's going to be them seeing something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It's probably my favorite verse. So,
Heck
That's
yeah.
cool.
I also don't know where it's from.
yeah.
I like it.
Maybe Ecclesiastes. I don't know what it is, but I'll be able to remember it. I guarantee you after this podcast. So that's gonna make me so mad, but I'll tell you it. Yeah, but
Alright.
A whole disclaimer at the end of the video.
Yeah, there you go.
you're looking for this verse.
So we can talk about college a little bit. I think-
Wait,
Sorry,
I
you
want
have
to
some
hear,
minute.
hear your favorite verse, John.
My
what's your
favorite verse?
verse, John? Let's go.
So my favorite verse is my memory verse from last week, which is Galatians 2:20,
Nice.
and it says, being on the spot and trying to remember a memory verse is kind of
Yeah,
hard.
that's hard, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure, especially with the camera rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just watching you, and whatever you say is what the audience is
It
going to hear.
says-
So.
It
And
says-
blaspheme.
Wait, no. It says, my old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me.
Nice.
So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. And that's the New Living Translation, because I think a lot of people remember a different version, but that's the one that I'm working with.
Interesting.
Yeah. What's yours?
Yeah, you knew that
put me
was
on the
coming.
spot.
You
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
that was coming.
I don't have the whole verse memorized, but it is John 9.
It's not John 3:16.
No, it's not. It's when Jesus heals the blind man, and the Pharisees like ask him like, was he born blind because of his sins or because of the sins of his parents? And
yeah.
Jesus basically probably is like, he wasn't born blind because of sin. He was born blind so that the glory of God could be shown.
Yeah, I love that
And
verse.
that
bro.
just
That's
hit
fire.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just
that's
like,
fire.
oof.
Like sometimes things suck in order for God to be shown in it. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Crazy. Yeah, that's like a big thing we've been talking about. Obviously, like God's glory can be shown through the good times, you know, when you get blessings and stuff. But a lot of the time, like for me, I feel closest to God when I'm coming out of like a big struggle.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like you can really see like when He puts His hand in, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. That's why I love some of my best prayer and worship times come from when I'm running. Because
Barefoot.
yeah, I've started running barefoot, dude. It's kind of bizarre. I watched an intriguing YouTube video, which is basically like humans were barefoot or just wore light sandals for like millions of years. Like you'll
So
be
it's
fine.
like better for you to run?
It's different. It like strengthens different like foot and
Like
like
little twitch
ankle.
tendons and things?
Yeah.
Apparently, your calf muscles pop.
Oh.
Is what John.
I mean, dude, my
Johnny's got
calf
the
muscles
calf.
are sore. Like
Johnny's
I'm
got
working
calves
out.
right now.
Johnny's got the calves.
Johnny
Yeah, some grapefruits
calves.
under there, bro.
No, I
Johnny
took-
calves.
Yeah. The part that sucks is running through the forest where there's a bunch of acorns.
Oh my
God. That's the part that
Stay on
I had
the
some
sidewalk.
couple bloody spots on the bottom of my feet when I got out of there.
I'm waiting to come home and just see just purple toes. You just broke a couple toes.
Good luck in the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Might wear shoes for that one.
No, you put it out there. You gotta keep doing it.
But anyways, so I like praying and worshiping when I'm running because, like you were saying, like it's easier to rely on God during, not easier, but and not necessarily more meaningful, but it's just you rely on God in a different way when you're going through a hard time. So when I'm running, like obviously it's not a super hard time, but it's like my body is struggling.
Yeah.
Like I'm struggling.
Well, it's like the quote you said the other day. Dependence is the goal, weakness is the advantage, right?
Yeah,
And
there you
so,
go. Yeah. So putting yourself in a state of like weakness and struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Might be something to that.
I think there's a huge thing to like finding things in your life to realize that like, oh shoot, I'm terrible at this, or like blah blah, and like to find ways to depend on Jesus because you will see Him more. And like I'll say that sitting here, but then I'll go home and like finally be like, I don't know if I want to do that, you know. But like, see, like yes, like I'm not like, oh yeah, this is it, I'm doing this all day. Like, no, but like there definitely is something to that. I think of just like Jesus is able to show more in the areas where we need Him more. Like in third world countries, like people talk about like these crazy miracles happen, and it's because like people aren't just depending on him to like get a job or to like blah blah. It's like to eat, to survive. And so it's like when he shows up, it's like, I mean, so much more meaningful, so much more like
recognized.
Yeah, there's so much more room for him to be shown. Right. So it's like he's gonna show up, right? Like I feel like in America we don't give him a lot of room to show because we do it ourselves and stuff, and it's like that's just not good. So
yeah, that's good. What, do you have something?
I was like,
all right, yeah, I was about to say. So you already kind of mentioned you go to Mizzou, you're a communications major, and you're a senior.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about your college experience. Like, how's it? Like, why did you choose to go to Mizzou, and like, how has it lived up to your expectations? What are some ways that it's been different than you thought it would be?
Yeah, I grew up totally not liking Mizzou.
Bro,
I was half my family lives in Georgia. My dad almost went to Georgia, like literally had his enrollment papers and did everything but the housing, and then somebody was like, yo, you need to come to Augusta. He's from Augusta, Georgia. You need to come to Augusta State and like help me start Young Life there. And he was like, bet. And so he did that instead of going to Georgia. But so I grew up a big Georgia football fan.
Nice. Yeah.
Like that is like a rite of passage in my family, essentially. And so I was just surrounded by Mizzou fans all the time. And thank goodness this is before they were in the SEC.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, I gotcha.
But like, so I hated Mizzou. I was like, I'm never gonna go to Mizzou, blah, blah. Then I started looking at in-state tuition and not in-state tuition, and my mind changed. I was like, here we go. And so, amen. And then I was deciding to go to Mizzou or Missouri State, and I really didn't feel like comfortable with one decision over the other. And so I did community college for a year, which was free.
Dang.
Yeah, because I did like the A+ program. Did you guys have that?
Yeah,
I heard about it.
I didn't do it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's where you got like 2 free years of college. Yeah, 2 free years of college. But I just did it for one. Then, I mean, I prayed a long time about where to go, like Mizzou or Missouri State. At the time, I was dating this girl, and she was a year younger than me. So she was a senior and decided to go to Missouri State. And like really wanted me to. So that was that was a dynamic. So that made the decision harder. But like I remember, I'll never forget this. I was driving home from Ohio. My aunt lives there, and we go there every year for Christmas. Driving back in the front seat with my dad, my mom, and my brother in the back seat, knocked out. And it was on the highway, and like randomly, I just looked at my dad. I was like, "I'm going to Mizzou." I was like, "I just feel like called to go to Mizzou. Like I feel like that's the place I'm going." And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Sweet, let's go." And so it was just like this weird like, I waited a long time. A year and a half, literally, before I decided, like January. January before, like, of the year before, so it was, like, pretty crazy. When I got to Mizzou, I really just wanted to, like, get away from following Jesus, essentially.
Yeah.
When I got to Mizzou, I guess that's the best way to put it.
You went through a period of, like I want to call the shots.
Yeah, it was just, I felt really miserable in my faith. Like, I never had a community, I never had, like, strong friends, or just a solid foundation in general. Like I always felt a lot of shame because I had things mixed up. I really didn't know who Jesus was 100%. Like I was trying, but I really didn't. And so I got to Mizzou, and I lived with 2 of my really good buddies in high school. When I got there, I mean, for the first month, all I would do every day is just like, a big part of my story is I used to be really addicted to smoking weed. And so you'll see it in my memory. I don't have a great memory.
Oh man.
But like, when I got there, that's all I did for like the first month. And like, while dating this girl who goes to Missouri State. So long distance, I don't really leave my house. All I do is smoke. And when I do leave my house, I go to class. I went to a couple Young Life things, but I didn't really connect with anyone. Yeah. So I was just like, I was the most depressed / anxious I've ever been. Like, not I've ever been, but like, definitely one of the darkest times of my life was that first month at Mizzou. Yeah. And that sucked. And I was just like, what is going on? This is not what I expected it to be like stuff. And then I don't even know how I got signed up, but I went to fall camp for Young Life. Nice. In Branson at Clearwater Cove. And
it's next weekend.
Yeah, literally this next weekend. If you're listening, go. I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'll be there too.
Yeates and John will be there.
Yeates and John will be there.
Are you coming?
I don't know yet.
Matt's coming.
Better sign up. Better sign up quick.
Wait, I think my grandparents are in town actually.
Yeah, of course.
Matt's grandparents will be there too. And so Shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't even know how I got signed up. I just randomly asked my parents one day for some reason. I don't know. I guess I was just like, I miss like things that bring me life. I went to YoungLife camp in high school. The best week of my life both times, right? And so I was like, let's do this. Like, won't be literally in my mind. I'm like, dang, I won't be able to smoke for a weekend. Like that's where I was at. You know, it was like life changing essentially. Like it was like out there, and I had finally made friends there who like followed Jesus, and I was like, okay, I can do this thing because like in high school it was just back and forth of following Jesus for 4 months, and then like really hard, and then like just accidentally smoking once, and then doing that for like 6 straight months, multiple times a day, back and forth. Like I mean, I got caught by my parents like 4 times, something maybe even 5. Like there's even a point to where like me and my friend Ben and another guy got pulled over in the car, and somehow I didn't get a ticket, but both of them did. Like I don't really know, like that type beat. And so like it was like this first time like I saw that all right, there's friends who follow Jesus too. This is possible. And so ever since then, life has been different. Really started actually following Jesus full time, and not just like when I want to. Not to say I haven't messed up. It hasn't been hard. But yeah, and so college really isn't about school for me. Yeah. It's more about people.
Yeah. Like I'll never get another time like this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, when will you ever get a chance to just be on a campus with 30,000 people who are like within 4 years of you, who are 10 years, however many. Yeah. And like to get to know people, and to like just like you go to class and you do homework, but like you get to spend so much time with people.
Yeah, you do.
And like I just like college is more of like a social, like me wanting to really meet people and like, get to know people and love people. Than, like I do school, and like I do the littlest amount I can to get good grades and stuff.
Yeah,
but, like
it's not why you're here.
It's not why I'm here.
Honestly, though, I bet having a higher purpose for being here is
it helps. It also makes you mad at school sometimes when I have to sit down and
yeah, that's fair.
Which I should just be like, all right, you're blessed to be here in the first place. So let's be real. Like it's not, I don't know, it's just not normal for people to be able to come here, go to Mizzou, go to college. Right. So very lucky to do it. So yeah.
So like you're still involved with YoungLife.
Yes.
So like what does that look like now versus freshman year?
Versus freshman year? Yeah. I'm a leader now.
There you go.
So I'm on student staff, which is technically like an internship, like a part-time, like learning what the administrative side looks like, and like the ministry. And I'm a head leader at Rockbridge, which means I lead like the team of leaders there, essentially, but also lead high school kids at the same time. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of different parts now to what I do versus when as a freshman I just showed up, like, right? and so yeah, I mean that takes up so much of my time to the point where it's been like very stressful. That's and like, yeah, just really hard. And like, yeah, it's been really fun though. It's been really rewarding too. Like I felt like through the hardness and like a lot of it I had to depend on Jesus, right? And like I've had to learn a lot of things about myself. Like I've seen so much more failure and so much more like where I'm not enough in this than anything else in my life, and it's like that's helped. Like I'm kind of narcissistic in a way, and so whenever I get put down off my pedestal, I'm like, okay, good. Like this really sucks and I hate it, but like I need it. You know, like I don't know why, but I'm just wired to where I think I can do things really well. Yeah. And when I don't, it's like just a slap in the face and like, all right, like you are in just as much need as everyone else. Yeah.
If dependence is the goal, weakness is
the advantage. Yeah, exactly. And so like I love that quote, but I hate that quote. But like, yeah, I've learned a lot just about like where I come short, where I lead some people well and others it's harder because I think I'm communicating one thing, but in reality I'm communicating another and they need something else. So I've learned a lot about leadership skills too. I think, and also just like, it's leading high school kids. And so like, that's been a journey and interesting. My passion is more towards like, being with people my age / college kids, and so I don't know, it's been hard to find the passion sometimes for that, and just like because I can just like count on my hand the number of like deep and life-changing conversations I've had over the last 2 years, and it's like versus talking to people my age or college students, like I can't even think just in like, and I've spent so much more time doing high school stuff college. So it's just like, sometimes I feel like I'm in the wrong place, but I don't know. You gotta trust God and where He has you, and so
Yeah,
just wherever you are to learn from that. So that's been cool to do.
It's kind of crazy the amount of difference like just a year or two can make just on your perspective and stuff.
It is. What about you guys?
how so? Wait, what?
How do you think you've changed since freshman year to now?
Oh, a whole lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Yeah, no, freshman year for me, I was a Baylor. For my first semester and like second half of my second semester, I was kind of also like just always in my dorm room.
Yeah.
Not plugged in. Not really going to church. I had like 2 or 3 really good friends who I love. Okay, so if you see this, don't. Yeah. But
loves you guys.
yeah, but just not getting the community that I needed.
Yeah.
And like at that point, I thought like I was just kind of angry at God if I even believed him at that point. I don't even know.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, that was definitely a rough period. Versus like now, I'm like leadership on Salt, which has been amazing. It's been really cool. Jeez, it's only been 4 weeks since I've been on leadership. It's been a long time. But that's been amazing.
It's been a cool 4 weeks.
It's been a cool 4 weeks. It's been a really cool 4 weeks. Yeah, much more grounded in my faith. Obviously, there's always going to be room to grow. There's always, but just the vast difference is nuts. Yeah. And like looking back on that period, it's like that's a really powerful part of my testimony at this point.
Yeah.
Let your mess become your message.
Right. And that's gonna like help me reach other people who might be in the same boat. Keep laughing, you guys.
I'm sorry, the mess.
I keep quoting I keep quoting JP, and I keep not giving him credit.
This is not the Becoming Something podcast.
No, it's not.
I promise you.
JP out here spreading bars. He was actually the pastor at the church. In
Watermark? Or no.
The Porch.
Harris Creek.
Harris Creek.
Yeah.
That's good old Nate Helgen camp.
Dude, I love that guy.
He's a unit.
Yeah. My life is totally different from between now and freshman year. I was talking about this with a friend recently, but inviting Jesus into your life, like really inviting him to invade every aspect of it, changes a lot. Because like waking up and reading your Bible every day and going to church every week and going to youth, like small group and whatnot, some days, like you were saying, you don't really feel like it. Or some days it'll just be harder than other days. So on those days, it becomes like a discipline, like spiritual discipline. Yeah. And so as you seek and discipline yourself, really, as you allow God to discipline you, you start seeing the effects of that in other areas too, which is why I think there's a strong correlation between this, but I've been reading my Bible every day for like almost 2 months now, and I've also been working out or running almost every day.
Yeah.
And even just things like making my bed in the morning. It's like just these things that like, I normally wouldn't do. Yeah. But so like you really do, like doing these things consistently, you start to see more of a change.
Yeah.
And it just affects really every aspect of your life.
How does it make you feel? Do you feel different than you felt?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How so?
Kind of like we were talking about the purpose thing.
Yeah.
Freshman year, I really didn't feel like I had a purpose. I was like, I don't like the classes that I'm in.
Yeah.
And if this is my purpose, to get a degree and then to get a job and to eventually retire and die, like I hate this.
Yeah,
It's so boring and pointless and miserable. But now, like I'm waking up every day. I'm like, I do have a purpose. I'm here to like love and share the gospel and be like, dude, we're gonna have a party in eternity someday, and I'm trying to get you there, and I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I totally feel different, like, because my whole outlook is just one of joy instead of one of misery.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. How about you, man?
My freshman year was depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And a lot of numbness, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was not where I needed to be, but like over the past year and a half, 2 years, I guess at this point. There's been a lot of kind of seeing the joy that God has. You know what I mean? Because like for a long time there, it was me not believing that things would ever get better, and then God being like, well, but yeah, so just from then to now, it's just been like a lot of fulfillment, and kind of like you were saying, like it's exciting to get out of bed knowing like there is a purpose and there is like joy and happiness to be found, even if that is like in balance with maybe rougher times kind of thing. But just like at this point, there's a lot of fulfillment. There's a lot more peace. Like the closer you grow to God.
Yeah.
The grosser you close.
The closer you grow to God. Just the more you depend on, the more peaceful you're gonna feel. Like anxiety is a lot easier. I think that's gonna be a struggle for a long, long time. But
yeah, for sure.
It's like a lot easier when you remind yourself, like
when you know the source of all peace in the universe.
Right. It's there's a poem. Okay.
Yeah.
I've talked about it so many times.
Yeah.
There's this poem.
I need to know.
It hangs in the bathroom at my friend's house.
Yeah.
And it talks about how like this man, after he dies, he's looking back on his life and he sees 2 sets of footprints in the sand.
One?
It's so good. It's 2 sets of footprints on the beach and it's him walking beside God. And when things get really, really difficult in his life, he only sees 1 set of footprints. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's really upset about that. And he like talks to God about it. And God is like, "You sweet child." Like it was in those times that I was carrying you. Like I never left you, but like you couldn't walk on your own without me. And just it gets easier to see that, I guess, the closer to your faith you get.
Now, one story from the Bible that I like that's a little bit similar to that is when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are in the furnace.
Just talking about
Literally
this.
in the
They're in the fire.
Yeah.
And there's the Hillsong song about another in the fire.
Yeah.
Like I really love that. Like I just get that image. It's like people say like Hillsong's a little bit of prosperity gospel. So I've been kind of taking their songs with a grain of salt. Like he's with you in the fire, but there's also a fire.
Yeah.
Like so it's gonna be hard, but like he's with you, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're hitting a little over 40 minutes. It's almost 10:10, so we should probably wrap it up. So Yeates, I have one more question for you. Okay.
Let's
Do
do
it,
it.
please.
Questions. What do you recommend? It can be anything off the top of your head. It doesn't have to be super deep, or it can be super deep.
What do I recommend?
Yeah.
Like for someone listening,
Anybody.
what should they do?
Yeah.
Any message. It could be a product. I recommend
His
it
was
a root
root
beer. A type of root beer. Don't just say root beer. That takes away the whatever.
Yeah.
Live today differently.
It's really good.
Don't routine's great, but do something different. I think you will find a lot of joy. You will find a lot more wisdom, and just you will enjoy life more the more perspective you have.
Yeah.
And so whether that's talking to someone different today, or going and doing something you've never done before. I'm also 7 on the Enneagram, if any of you know what that means. So
Me
that's
too, dude.
it's my favorite thing to do is just do new things and do different things. And so, but yeah, do something different. Maybe even follow Jesus. That'd be a cool thing.
Hey, heck yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So I just say try something new, do something different. That's my advice.
It's good.
Have a conversation with a stranger and get to know them. That's crazy. It's crazy scary to walk up to someone.
It's
random.
kind of frightening.
But it's let's be real. There's a really good chance you never see them in your life again. So what could you learn now that you would never end up learning? And that's scary to me, that I could learn something and never actually do it just because I didn't want to do it. Or maybe even go try a new food place. Just do it.
There you go. Yeah.
Do it. That's what I recommend.
And another thing, the talking to a new person is kind of a double whammy because you're doing something different. So you're learning and growing, but then also that person is probably doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So by you going out of your way to talk to them, to do something different, they're also just kind of inadvertently doing something different.
You could change their perspective. The more we as humans talk and get to know each other more and more, I just feel the better the world would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially.
Dude, that is a big and good note to end on. So Yeates, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was hype. Thank you.
This was cool. Yeah.
Sir, I loved it.
That's
All right, well, thank you guys for watching too. We hope you learned something. And we'll see you in the next one.